Hey guys, this is Josh here with Trillium Wild Edibles, and today I wanted to show you this ant aphid farm that I have on my lamb's quarters. This has been an ongoing problem for me all year, and I wanted to show you guys just what this looks like, so in case you see it on your plants, you're going to know what it is. Here you can see the aphids all up and down the stem of this plant, and this at first shocked me until I ran across a video that SciShow did last year about how ants maintain their farms. In it, I learned quite a bit, and if you guys want to watch it or learn more about this subject, I'll put a link in the description down below to their video if you guys want to check it out. Alright, now this is something that ants have been doing for millions and millions of years, way before us humans ever even thought about domesticating a plant. The ants and aphids share a somewhat symbiotic relationship as the ants work the aphids for their honeydew, not the melon, but a sweet juice that is excreted from the aphids. The aphids will use their suckers to suck up all the plant juices or phloem, and the ants will herd the aphids in a group as well as rubbing them to help them stimulate more honeydew, or to help the aphids secrete more honeydew for the ants to eat and bring down to their colony. Now, what's really interesting about this to me is that the ants will go through massive lengths just to support these farms. They will go from everything to chewing off the wings of the aphids to moving them around to better plants for better feeding. The ants then take this honeydew down to their colony for feeding. This is a really unique but rather interesting and awesome process that can be an extremely big hassle if you're growing crops for food or for medicine, or if you're like me, letting wild edibles grow. I've been battling these for several months now, and the one thing that I have learned about how to mitigate the issue is that they're always going for the well-established plants and seem to be leaving the smaller ones alone. Now that makes sense as the larger plant has more phloem, which can support more aphids, so I presume that's why they're going for the more established plants. However, the downside about that is that if you're growing plants for crops, you usually need them to be large and well established for you to get anything out of them anyways. So that's a really big downside. Alright, now when it comes to this, I've actually noticed two different types of ants running across my lamb's quarters and herding these aphids. You'll see these little black ones that are really common, and you're going to see these running all up and down the stem, and they kind of blend in with the aphids. But then there are these really big red ones that are also doing the same thing. You may also be able to see several clips throughout this video of the ants rubbing the aphids with their little legs or hands or whatever it is that the ants have. I don't actually know. But this is what helps the aphids to secrete the honeydew, or the waste, or poo most likely, which I've gotten several clips of this, like I said, throughout this video. You may also notice how some of the aphids still have legs and can still walk around, but almost none of them have wings. I actually have a clip later in the video where there's an aphid that does have some wings, and I kind of flick it off the plant and then show you what that looks like. But you can see that it's the same insect, that it is an aphid and it does have wings originally, but all the ones on the stem you're going to notice don't have any wings. And the reason that is because the ants actually like to chew the wings off of the aphids to keep them localized and keep them in one little herd, if you will. However, they'll also move them around to bigger and better plants if it's necessary for better honeydew production. These industrious little ants are extremely intelligent farmers, helping to keep the plant alive as long as they can to maximize their production. So these things operate a lot like us humans do, in that whenever they're farming, they're just trying to maximize their production of whatever it is, in this case, honeydew and aphids. This process is really unique and also kind of cool in my opinion. However, it can cause a really big headache for farmers or those growing crops, as getting rid of them is kind of near impossible without destroying your crop too. The ants have an extremely large underground colony, and until that's completely eliminated, the ants are going to keep coming back and farming their aphids on your plants. I've managed to figure out a way to kind of mitigate the issue a little bit to where the ants can still have their aphids and their honeydew, and I can still have my lamb's quarters. And that's just simply by me pulling up and using any lamb's quarters plant that's under a foot tall, as they seem to move on to the plants after they get around that tall. So the downside with that is it's not really helpful for those of you who are actually growing like tomatoes or anything like that, because you need your plant to be growing for a long period of time. You're not going for young tender greens like I am on my lamb's quarters. So being able to mitigate that for you guys is going to be a little bit difficult, and I don't really know exactly how to go about doing that besides just constant diligence and constant control of pesticides, or whatever it is you've got on hand, whether it's diatomaceous earth or plant wood ashes, whatever it is you're using. insecticide of some sort is really the only way to control the issue. To remove and kill them, I don't know of a way to do that, like I said, besides eliminate that colony. Here you guys may be able to see the curly dock that I'm growing, and I had mentioned this in my 100 subscriber special, and you can also see the spring rosette of this plant in my video of 12 edible plants that grow in your yard. I had actually had some issues with the ants moving aphids over to my curly dock, and I'm growing this plant to grind the seeds up into a flower, so I really need this plant to live for a long time. I've actually managed to keep them off of it for now, but it's mainly because there doesn't seem to be a large colony anywhere near the plants, as I only had to use diatomaceous earth just a couple of times, and since then I haven't really had much of an issue, so that's been really nice. Whereas on the lamb's quarters, that hasn't worked out so well for me, as you saw earlier in the video where the aphids are just all over the damn things. Here you can also see the color of these seeds and how close they are now. These seeds are almost ready for grinding and they're developing their nice brown color. There's kind of a mix of colors, but that's okay. Here you can also see a good close-up of the distinct shape of these seeds and how there's kind of like 3 little wings on the sides. Also, you may notice that it's catching some mulberries for me as well, which is really cool because it's growing right underneath one of the mulberry trees that's on my property. So I thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you learned something. If you want to learn more about edible or medicinal plants, make sure to subscribe.